What's going on, Midnight Central? It is one of those hours and we gotta get into this one immediately. Put your puppers on a leash, guys. Hide your kids, hide your wives, because some of these videos today, baffling. Like the video if you love your mama, guys. Like the video if you love God. Let's go for 2 likes. Shout out to the homie Barry Step. Roll it.
1 to 3% of Americans say that they've been abducted by aliens.
1 to 3?
You know,
that's a huge
high,
percentage, dude.
That is 3 to 10 million Americans that have been abducted. But what's so weird about all these...
I'm a believer, don't get me wrong, but 1 out of 3 people, nah, something is not adding up.
Counts is that there's always something with fertilization. Females have talked about they are implanted with like an alien baby, but then they're re-abducted again and the baby's taken out. And so if you think of the fallen angels mating with the women of the earth and producing these Nephilim, are they at this point now to where it's like, okay, well, we can't have 15-foot giants walking around because that's pretty obvious. So are we going to make them different with genetic coding? There's one account, I think it was from Payne Lindsay. They talked about this lady saw this room with like different vessels of like super alien looking to very human looking. So it's like they've been like testing the genetic code kind of stuff.
Well, it's
now what he's talking about is crazy. And we had a government report on the same thing he's talking about. So I don't think it's lies, but to say that 1 out of 3 people or 1 out of 3 American are saying that they have been abducted by aliens, I think that's a little off. I would say it's like a rare case, probably.
strange, like even you think about like the telepathic talking. The most confirmed alien abductions have similarities where they're doing telepathic talking, and also you do that with angels with near-death experiences and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of overlap.
I've never really heard this theorized this way. Maybe the aliens among us are the products of forced fertilization of female abductees. They also have the reports of men claiming that the aliens took sperm samples from them. Maybe they used that to mix with their DNA to create a human-alien hybrid that can come to term with the human appearance. I have no clue, of course, if there are even aliens among us, but the claim has certainly been made, and this would be a good explanation of how that's happened. Now, I gotta say before we roll into this next clip, I don't know if this is true. This is just some lady making a claim, so I'll let you decide how serious to take it.
This celebrity exposes everyone who's on the Diddy tapes.
I'm gonna tell you who I believe is on the tapes. I believe Barack Obama got a tape.
Yeah, he playing hide the hot dog.
I know Jennifer Lopez has multiple tapes.
Oh yeah.
I know Beyonce got a tape. I definitely know they probably recycled some old Stevie J and Eve stuff. I know Drake got a tape. I know Rihanna got a tape. I know Chris Brown was on one of them tapes. I know Trey Songz has been like a supporting actor in many freak-off film. Definitely Usher. I think what would shock people are the politicians and the royals that are on that tape. And I'm still trying to figure out when Harry and Meghan are going to be honest about their freak-off tape. I don't think...
Who isn't on the freak off tape?
I'm just gonna say nothing, man. Like this is crazy, y'all. And especially like the Diddy situation. Now I'm not been following too I'm not have been following super deep, but I heard about like the baby oil. They found like 1,000 baby oil bottles. Like, bro, like
that the royal family had
that's crazy.
Any time at Diddy party, especially that weirdo uncle.
None of this would be surprising, but I can't help but wonder, are we actually going to see some of these people get exposed? The way they're talking, Diddy recorded all this footage of people doing bad things so he could use it as a form of blackmail for protection. Sort of a keep your mouth shut and nobody sees your tape kind of situation. So if that's true and Diddy is going down anyways, what's to stop him from exposing everybody else to take the heat off of himself? He certainly strikes me as the type to start singing to the police to save his own butt.
So what are you thinking about all this alien stuff going on?
I remember my buddy brought me a book about the Nephilim in the Bible and this being an explanation for aliens. I think it's the most logical.
Real quick, just want to say the reason it sounds weird is because it probably had some copyrighted music, so he removed the music by using the YouTube editor, but the commentary stays, and that's why it sounds like this way. So if you see some of my videos having the same effect, it's probably because of the copyright situation.
Logical conclusion. The part I wrestle with is, it seems like around the time of Noah, they were supposed to be killed off.
That was the point of the flood.
So then I started thinking, maybe the physical beings died, and then now their spirits are in a different realm. And so what we're dealing with isn't physical beings, we're dealing with a different dimension.
Have you read the Book of Enoch?
Parts of it.
So I mean, that's how they explain evil spirits and demons, is that it's the spirit of the Nephilim. So they died and they became these wandering spirits. And when Christ talks about his return, it'll be like the days of Noah. I'm fully convinced that it's going to be like the days of Noah, which is Nephilim, all the weird stuff that's going to start appearing again.
The stuff that in Noah's day was physical, but in our days is transitioning from the spiritual realm into the physical realm. That there's a spirit in the air. We don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but the spirit becomes more and more pervasive. And then it's physically breaking into our realm through all of the recent sightings and videos coming out and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
My main problem with this being the explanation is that we know they're flying physical crafts. We have footage of it, and they've interacted with our planes and stuff before. I can't imagine why a spiritual being would need a physical spacecraft, unless through the simple explanation of we don't understand true reality, maybe these things have the ability to phase in and out of physical form, and when they're in the physical form, they need physical transportation. I don't...
and also, yeah, no, absolutely. And also, we're in the 3D world, and we know 4 dimensions exist, right? According to studies, though. I mean, we don't literally know if it exists or not, but we think it exists, and we got some sort of evidence. Make of that what you will, but we do strongly, let's just put it this way, we do strongly believe there are other dimensions, like the 4th dimension, the 5th dimension, the 6th dimension. You get the idea, right? And the 3D dimension, the 3rd dimensional beings, that's who we are. We cannot see 4 dimensional, you know what I mean? And 4 dimensional cannot see the 5th dimensional. So it's like, it is insane, man. It is really is insane. At times, it makes you question stuff, right?
I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't think this one makes any sense. Hey, if you're enjoying this video and you like this type of content, I post a new one just like it every day, Monday through Friday. It'd be awesome if you'd hit that subscribe button and come back tomorrow.
Like and subscribe, like and subscribe. And as we get down to it, I also need to shout out you guys, Mythical, Risky, The Great White. Shout out to all 3 of you for following over on Instagram. If you guys want to help support the channel, consider becoming a member on the channel by clicking the join button, and also check out the Instagram. Link is in the pinned comment as always. Alright, let's get back to the content here, boo boo.
And parked in an abandoned parking lot. Check it out real quick.
Abandoned Teslas? We found parking. Holy, that many?
What the heck is going on? Trunk is open.
Yeah, that trunk
Guys,
is
look
open.
at all these Cybertrucks and Teslas. No one's driving that? No one is in that car.
Nobody walked over here. Wait. There's nobody in these. What the heck? That car just sped off. There's no one in it.
Now, a lot of people in the comments were talking about how this reminded them of a scene from the movie Leave the World Behind. And while reviewing that scene, I came across a pretty wild theory that was being discussed in the comments. The theory suggests that brand new Teslas are purposely being sent to abandoned lots so that if there's ever a state of emergency or a state of panic, these vehicles could be remotely activated and sent to main highways and roads in order to block them off in an attempt to maintain order or control. Now, that's obviously just a theory and there's no hard evidence behind it, but some people still find it suspicious that
it makes you question for sure, but of course, like, these conspiracies sometimes are absolutely really wild and don't necessarily, I don't see them happening, but it's like, can happen. It's not, you know what I mean? But the cars driving themselves, holy, and then you know, the AI robot's gonna drop as well. They're talking about the Tesla bot looking crazy though, but I mean, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, if we don't blow ourselves up, I mean, the Iran, the Israel situation that's going on, that is crazy, man. But if we don't blow ourselves up, 5, 10, 20 years from now, this is gonna look like a completely different world, guys.
these cars appear to be brand new and still have power, as well as there being an unusually large amount of Cybertrucks, which are promoted as having windows and an exterior that's supposed to be impenetrable to multiple weapons. Regardless, it's pretty strange, but leave a like and let me know what you think about all this in the comments.
Leave a like, guys.
I don't
Leave a
even
like.
have a guess as to what's going on here, but I will say that I think his theory that they're on standby to start blocking off roads and stuff to control the flow of traffic and emergencies is ridiculous. No offense to that guy, but he's forgetting that the federal government absolutely despises Elon Musk. There's no way they would have some secret agreement to use Teslas to control the population. But first of all, I don't think Elon would agree to that. And second, if the federal government wanted to enact a program like this, they have many other car manufacturers that they could go.
Or perhaps like that abandoned parking lot was a testing ground for Teslas to test out the Tesla vehicles. You never know, right? And context do matter. So somebody recorded and put it on the internet and it's like, yeah, bro, like conspiracy. It's that too.
Go to who would likely fall right in line with it because, unlike Tesla, they get handouts from the government.
This is what an AR-15 sounds like. General Mark Hertling served in the U.S. Army for 37 years, so he knows what the AR-15, which used to be a weapon of war, can do.
So the AR-15 has never been in war. But can we talk about something more important here? This guy says he's been in the Army for 37 years. You tell.
I don't know. Yeah, the way he was firing, like, listen, I never really fired a gun. No, I fired like just one bullet actually.
Bruh.
Off like a smaller, like a pistol thing, but I'm in Canada, guys. You guys gotta understand that, and I did not fire the gun here in Canada. I went back to my country, and somebody had it. So, and they did not want to let me have it, so they held my hand. I was around like what, 18 or something like that. Yeah, right. Like I was telling him, bro, like I'm not gonna shoot anybody, but he wanted to be careful. I understand. I can respect that part, but let's just put it this way: I never really shot a gun, man. That's crazy, man. Like I wanted to also like try it out, you know, like maybe like at a gun range, but in Canada, bro, good luck finding
Tell me that a soldier that's been in the Army for 37 years holds a rifle like that. He looks like he's a virgin, like it's his first time.
Yeah. Originally built for the battlefield, a defined.
I feel like that I can hold it better, even though I never really shot any gun. I can feel like, why? Because I played Call of Duty. I played a lot of Call of Duty, so I know how to.
The main characteristic of the AR-15 is the speed and power of the bullet.
If I wanted to fire this on full semi-automatic, all I do is keep firing.
Okay, now I know for sure he was never in the Army. Nobody ever says full semi-automatic unless you're trying to push some propaganda. Nobody in the Army says full semi-automatic. Come on.
Yeah. It's either fully automatic or semi-automatic, right?
It's a weapon designed to inflict maximum damage.
Not fully
Look
semi.
at that grouping. Helen Keller could have done a better job.
Yeah, that guy actually looked scared to me, like he'd never even heard a gun go off before. It's funny to me how people put their entire career on the line and go on national television and tell lie after lie to convince you to think a certain way. These people have no shame. That man, at the very least, knows that he's lying about those guns being used in war. And he's willing to look like a complete fool to the public so long as he convinces a couple people out there that gun rights are bad.
Where's our government right now? Because, guys, that's North Carolina over there. I'm in Tennessee, and I just read and saw a video where they said that people and their whole beings were laying all over the ground.
What?
And the smell was, like, horrific. And nobody can get in there. Nobody's going over there. What is going on? Why isn't the government helping? This is worse than anybody even expected or even knows, because none of the news channels are even reporting on this except for like TikTok. That's it. What is going on?
None of the news channel except for TikTok. TikTok is not a news channel, but yeah, it's a social media, but okay.
These people need help. They need help over North Carolina. They need the government to come in with the military. What is going on? Why aren't they helping? There is literally a stink happening because there's so many beings laying everywhere.
Where?
I'm just so infuriated right now and angry, you guys. Where's the government? I mean, if the government really wanted to help, dude, there would be helicopters and you know, military just everywhere. There's none. There's none.
I agree on that, but like, where are there? What beings and where are they laying?
What is going on?
I'm not going to comment on the government's response because I honestly just don't know what all they're doing right now for the people of North Carolina, Georgia, or Florida. But I will say this, no matter what they're doing...
Okay, did something happen in North Carolina? I'm not aware, right? So maybe something actually went down that I'm not aware. It's yeah, she did not really say the full context, so my bad if there's something like actually went down. Let me know in the comments if something for real happened. Oh my bad, bro. Like I just don't know.
It likely isn't enough. The videos coming out of North Carolina don't even look like inhabited areas. The roads are just completely washed away. There's people in the mountains out there with no water, no food, no shelter, no means of transportation, and they can't even hike out on foot because all the roads are gone. That woman is right, though. With as many people that are stranded out there, you would expect to see a massive fleet of helicopters all over those mountains trying to rescue people. Where are they at?
News sources and creators have been talking about the potential of a massive dock strike, but now it's coming out that it is certain to happen by midnight. Most of you already know this, but a strike this massive, specifically for members of the ILA, would cause 36 docks to shut down, which are responsible for handling about half of the shipped goods that come in and out of the US. And it's estimated that the US economy would lose $5 billion daily during the strike. Now, the main explanation that we're given for this dock strike is because the workers are requesting higher pay. However, there are some people coming up with theories about a deeper meaning behind all this. This specifically has to do with a second request that the dock workers made, in which they requested a 100% ban on robots or automation on the job site. According to this theory, the reason why a new contract was not agreed upon is because there was a plan to replace most, if not all, of the dock workers with machine and automation, and a ban on automations would obviously get in the way of that plan.
I feel like that if this continues like that, because of course, like I have another channel, main channel, where I mostly cover like gaming news and entertainment news, right? And we have heard so much of that where like in the gaming industry, so many devs got fired, albeit sometimes because the game like really bombed and flopped, but more often than not, it's also because of they're utilizing AI, so they need less men work, right? Less force. So make no mistake, if this continues like that way, yeah, right, especially it's gonna start with bigger companies and then it's gonna trickle down to smaller companies over time, but it's gonna start with like bigger companies, and it already has started, especially with the companies like Microsoft as well, where they are letting their workforce go because they got the AI, right? And it's like it's gonna get advanced, it's gonna get better and better, and we're gonna get to the point where you would just need people to, I guess, keep a watch on AI, but that AI is working right, like working correctly or not. And then I guess at some point in time, we're gonna have AI keeping a watch on AI that it's doing its job. You feel what I'm saying? It's gonna get to that level too if it continues like that. I don't know what's gonna happen, man. Like if everybody or majority loses their job, then it's like, yeah, what are we talking about? How is it gonna work? How's the economy is gonna stay stable? So there's gotta be a solution to all this, right? Because otherwise it's gonna look bad. If you guys ever played the game called Detroit Become Human, good game. It's a very good game. It's a very good game.
Even though that's just speculation, other major organizations like Amazon, for example, have already apparently replaced tens of thousands of jobs with robots. So
exactly what I was trying to say too. So Amazon is in it. So it's gonna start with like these bigger corporations, and then it's gonna over time trickle down to smaller companies.
Maybe they're on to something.
The leader of that union ain't backing down either. He literally threatened that he'll get what he wants for his men or he'll cripple the country. I don't know what the answer is here, but that's a lot of power in the hands of one man who wasn't elected into office by the American people. One union leader shouldn't have the ability to cripple the U.S. economy. Something needs to be done about this.
That right there is a blue parrotfish put here.
Oh.
If you're the type of person that enjoys the beach, I'm gonna change that for you. Meet the parrotfish. It's basically a 100-pound armored fish that's only found in tropical regions.
What the hell?
Now the first thing you'll notice about them is the fact that they have a beak, like a bird beak, hence the name parrotfish. And they use that beak to eat rocks and coral reef. And this is where things get weird. When they eat the coral reef, it can't all be digested. So the rest just gets pooped out. But the thing is, the parrotfish poops out sand. That's sand. They poop sand, and a lot of sand too, like a lot. One parrotfish can expel 1,000 pounds of sand a year. In fact, 70% of all white sand beaches in the Caribbean and in Hawaii are made by parrotfish.
No.
Keep that in your mind the next time you say I want the.
Bro, why the hell would you do that to us, man? And imagine this is all fake, like he's making that up. Imagine, right? He just ruined it. He just ruined it for me, man. He just ruined it for me. And possibly even for you two watching.
The sand between my toes. And as always, follow for more facts.
I just thought this was interesting and wanted to share it. The next
I blame you for putting that in.
time you go to the ocean and cover yourself with sand, remember, you're covering yourself with fishy feces.
So why are they trying to Trump? Well, it's very simple. Follow the money. As we record this on this Sunday in New York City, the United Nations is meeting to vote on their new plan for all of us. It's called the Pact for the Future. And they've kept it hidden from you, of course. But this new plan by the United Nations would essentially take the power out of our country's hands, place them into a global governing body, the United Nations. Call it UN 2.0. They'll tell us what to eat. They'll tell us how we travel. Oh, your carbon footprint, you traveled too much this month. Sorry, you can't go and visit grandma up in Nantucket. How we conduct our finances, controlled by the World Bank and the IMF. This is happening in New York this weekend.
I don't know much.
Bruh. That's... What are we talking about? And this is one of those things that I have heard a million times over, that they're gonna do something like that. It's like the social credit system, essentially.
About this one, but I've been hearing for years now that they want to do
Exactly.
this. I don't know if this is another video that's just trying to scare us or if this is actually really happening, but I haven't been misled by Redacted in the past that I'm aware of. My main question here is, how do they intend to get us to all go along with it when none of us recognize the authority of the UN?
But they never...
Yeah, because, like, I'm somebody that's not traveling that much, and, but eventually I wanna, you know, I feel like that at a certain point, I would be like, yeah, I wanna travel, like, 20 countries in 1 year, or some bullsquash like that, right? I'm just, like, working, saving, and eventually it's just, like, go crazy with it, right? Like, just travel, and, imagine there's, like, okay, bro, you have traveled to 3 countries, you need to wait till next year, or maybe... You gotta wait 10 years for it. Bro, that's gonna be insane.
We're serving
That's
food.
insane.
Interesting.
And I don't understand.
Okay.
But they never serve any food.
Interesting.
And I don't understand that.
The baby buffet? What?
Yeah. Eat blood drinkers is really
Yeah,
what-
I have no evidence of that at all.
I don't either, but it seems
Oh, he's that Joe Rogan guy, right? He blew flat earther dude.
like it's...
Yeah.
What's the difference between believing that people might...
There's no evidence of any of that. It's just all speculation. But a lot of clues and stuff everywhere. And I mean, we know this. If you look up this company called Ambrosia, they're out in the open and they're talking about how teen blood transfused into older people, when they get transfused with teen blood, that they have like miraculous results. And this is a place you can go to get.
Are you kidding? Ambrosia?
Ambrosia. Look, put the clip up. It's it's out there, so it's real. It's real.
Ambrosia's the company.
You got it right there?
I think so.
My God.
Yeah.
Harvesting
There should
the
be a
blood
video.
young.
Look at that. Harvesting the blood. That's
Oh
real.
my God.
I mean,
Wow.
Monterey, California. Of course, it's in California.
And
Of course, yeah.
My red pill moments were in the 90s when I got famous, and all the kids here in Hollywood, whenever they'd see me, I was helping kids. They start telling me what's going on. That was my red pill. Yeah.
What?
Little
Hollywood kids would tell you what was going on?
kids who came to Hollywood from abusive families or were trafficked here,
Teen remedies.
that we helped get off the streets and away from their, with Dr. Lois Lee of Children of the Night. And yeah, they'd tell us what they had lived through. And first you're like, and then after you hear it 15,000 times the very same way, you're like, oh, wait.
These weren't kids that were in Hollywood. They were kids that were just in the traffic.
Hollywood Boulevard, like teen
Hollywood
remedies.
Boulevard.
Oh, Hollywood Boulevard.
Uh-huh.
And what was the main thing? What was the main thing they said?
Pretty much describe the Matrix. Do you know what I mean? That's how it works. And it's all like, business. That's what makes the whole world go around.
Yeah.
That's the real economy.
Yeah.
They got everything so it looks good in the window, but that's what they're doing.
That's the real economy? Wow, what a powerful way to put it. I feel like the world's just starting to wake up to just how significant the problem of child and human trafficking really is. But apparently it was just as bad a problem back in the 80s and 90s. We just weren't being told about it. I feel like this is the number one problem.
I think it's the reason we hear this, the reason we hear about this a lot nowadays is because of the internet. Back in the days of course, we didn't have the way it is. I don't even know what year the internet really started. I feel like it started somewhere in the 90s or the early 2000s. I would have to Google it. But of course, people now the internet has gone mainstream, right? Let's just not even kid about it.
In the world that needs to be fixed. It's mind-blowing how little resources actually go into combating it.
Well, it happened. The ports on all of the East Coast and the Gulf Coast closed down. And this literally comes on the tail of that same area getting demolished. Now, I'm not saying that there's some funny business going on here. It might actually just be the port workers going on strike. But the timing of it just seems too coincidental to me, especially coming on the heels of this area getting decimated and probably in need of a lot of extra supplies. And especially after my friend Greg sent me a list of 100 patents for weather modification. And seeing that this pulse happened right near the hurricane area. Now, of course, I know these patents don't actually exist. But what if they did? What if they could control the weather? And then what if they set up a perfectly timed...
Oh, I saw something related to poisonous. It says poisonous something.
Control the weather, and then...
Okay, September 4, 1915. I guess this is the patent protecting from poisonous gas and warfare process and apparatus for the production of intense artificial clouds, fogs, or mist. So these guys got patents for everything by the looks.
And what if they set up a perfectly
process of producing artificial fogs, atomizing attachment for airplane engine exhaust, electrical system and method, smoke screen, smoke, electric generator referencing.
Time strike to cause chaos in the East Coast. And what if this is the beginning of what they have been programming for the past year or two? And with the elections coming up, and the way the news seems to be covering it, like not covering it very much.
Very much.
It makes me think that they're waiting for the right moment to just drop the bomb and make everyone panic. But I just want every single person to keep this in mind and keep the fact that they are programming this in our minds. Stay calm and don't panic and don't stress. And remember,
when they say don't panic, that's when you run, man. I recently rewatched that 2012 movie, so that's like one of those famous line from the movie. When they tell you to not panic, that's when you run. That's when you run.
To be kind to your neighbor and just love everybody. Because whether it's now or soon, I'm telling you, they're programming us for something where we're all button heads. But instead, we need to turn our attention to the real problem. And if you watch my videos, you know who the real problem is. But like I said in the beginning, I'm sure this is just those workers wanting more wages. And I'm hoping that's all it is. And then it gets resolved real fast. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, we all deserve to get higher wages, man. Absolutely. Like the video if you agree, man.
Entertainment only.
So I guess the theory or implication here is that the government is creating these storms to intentionally hit these ports while they're backed up with cargo that's not being unloaded. Or is it that they just want to destroy the economy further? I think this idea is a bit far-fetched personally, but I will say this. When the federal government drags their feet on responding to emergency situations, it makes it look like they either don't care or that they think it plays in their favor.
They are planning to take out our power grid. Listen very carefully, because you might not hear this information anywhere else.
Russia and China are working together, and they planned on undermining the United States, and they essentially want to wipe out the United States. That's in their master plan.
And that comes from taking out our power grid.
I learned over time about how that generally is a master plan, and I learned later that we have studied defector literature, and we have defector testimony, and a number of them from all four countries, Iran, North Korea, China, and Russia, have said that this is in their master plan.
I think it was a clip from this same interview where the guy says they estimate that if the grid goes down, 90% of the population will perish within 9 months. They don't even have to attack us, just cut the power lines and watch us destroy each other. This is terrifying to think about this happening, but it's a very real possibility. Prepare for this stuff while you still can. Be ready.
Holy. Damn.
Weather vanes, which is lightning rods. They just changed the name over time. Now what's interesting is, check these out. What's interesting is it's inserted into the building. Something new. And look at these crazy designs. It's wild, but check this. It gets really interesting when you get into this old book. Look at this thing. Enormous weather vane made of wrought copper and gold, leafed for a church in Illinois. What's interesting is those are conductive materials. Why would you want to catch lightning with copper and gold? Look at the size of this too. Look at these people. The thing is huge. This was on top of a church. Questions to ask. Now check this. This is the largest hand-wrought copper vane eagle in the world. Lawrence, Massachusetts. Look at that thing. Absolutely crazy. So then we look at this Old North Church. Look at this one. What's interesting is it talks about how these were originally put up in 1775, which, when you think about that now, they had these gigantic cranes in 1775, and there's some people trying to assemble it, which is interesting. But then you get into spires and steeples. And then you get into designs of the cupolas. Interesting. All to catch some lightning. And then you have windmills, which we know generate atmospheric energy when they spin. Interesting.
And
over here. Hey, these are the ones that used to be made out of gold, brass, and had mercury inside of them.
There has to be truth to the idea these old weather vanes conducting electricity or harnessing power from the ether. Why else would you have something that conducts electricity mounted to the top of your house and entering down into the roof? Unless you're just trying to catch the place on fire. Am I missing something here? Is there...
But guys, check out this video on the screen, man. The night is still young. If you enjoyed this, you're gonna love this one. Crazy amount of clips, and I'll see you right there. Check it out, and I'll see you there, boys.